book written in Manipravam language Ramayana? Excellent choice. False is the right answer. In Germany, most people live on the dash side. Perfect. Western is the correct choice. Kuchipudi is a classical dance of which state? Clear logic. Your choice Andhra Pradesh is sound and 100% true. Who proclaimed himself as the deputy of God? Strong choice. Anangabaim IE is the right answer. What type of investment can be made in people? On track. Research and development is the correct answer. Arizona and New Mexico are in the dash region. Correct. Southwest is the right answer.
Oregon and Washington are in the dash region.
Good thinking. Pacific is the right answer. What is the longest line of longitude called? Smart pick. Prime meridian is the correct choice. Who was appointed as the Subadar of a ward? Smart move. Buranan Mulk is an accurate answer. How many regions is Mississippi divided into? Solid response. 10 is a valid choice. What communication style do Austrians prefer? You chose straightforward and direct. And it is correct. Which type of emotions were there in Rajputs? Great thinking. All of these is the right choice. Dash was first settled by European explorers. Right again. Coastal meadows is a valid answer. In which year did the Great Depression start? Exactly. 1929 makes sense and it is right choice. Which book did Albright's mother give to him? Excellent. Travel to Monarch X is a brilliant choice. Geographers are most interested in analyzing. Nicely done. Spatial patterns is a solid answer.
Our office is so old now. We need to dash it.
Good job. Your answer modernize works well here. What type of government controls North Korea? Nice selection. Dictatorship is the correct and valid answer. Who stopped persecuting Christians in Ad 313? You're right. Constantine I is the correct answer. Having a parade on Independence Day is a dash. Well reasoned. Custom is the correct choice.
Name a book written in Manipravalam language.
Correct response. Leelatikalam is the most accurate answer. Mulattoes are descendants of what two groups? Great job. African and European is the accurate answer. What is a service provided by the government? You got it? Your choice mail delivery is right.
If a bill is passed in Parliament, it becomes.
Sharp thinking. A law is the right choice. The cult of the Jagannatha is located in dash. Well done. Puri, Ori is the right choice. Most cultures use a dash in their diet daily. Valid point, grain is true. The global agricultural economy took shape in. Well picked. 1890 is the correct answer. Bengal was divided by the British in the year. Nice work. You chose 1905 and it is correct.
Constituent Assembly was set up in the year.
Right choice. 1946 is the best answer. Kentucky and Georgia are in the dash region. Bravo. Southeast is the answer. Dina determined the dashits and dash of the cell. Right choice. Form and function is the best answer. Which tool is more accurate for geographers? You chose globe, and it is correct. Diana is so beautiful, Dash likes to make up. Great job. She is the accurate answer. Name one impact of globalization on culture. Nice work. You chose cultural homogenization, and it is correct. British are not normally actively patriotic. You got it. Your choice true is right. Runzas have their roots from what countries? Correct. German, Russian is the right answer. Who was a part of 9 gems of Akbar's court? Well picked. Single line is the correct answer. Lala Lajpat Rai was an active member of Dash. Sharp thinking. Arya Samaj is the right choice.
In which year did we adopt our constitution?
Solid response. 1949 is a valid choice. What groundbreaking research did Ebright do? Well reasoned. Working of Dina is the correct choice. Rajasthan was called as Dash by the British. Exactly. Rajputana makes sense, and it is right choice. What was the other name for 16 August 1946? Excellent. Direct Action Day is a brilliant choice. The most important dash in water is oxygen. Smart move. Element is an accurate answer. What was the first thing that Mark ordered? You're right. Omelette is the correct answer. Which tribe had a confederacy of 5 nations? Clear logic. Your choice Iroquois is sound and 100% true. Stories about Rajput heroes were recited by? Great thinking. Trained minstrels is the right choice. Which organisms are most likely to survive? Good thinking. The best adapted is the right answer. An example of Banyudatta's Bisoli painting. Smart pick. Rasamanjari is the correct choice. The word Kathak is derived from which word? Valid point. Katha is true. What are soft drinks called in the Midwest? Perfect. Pop is the correct choice. Latitude and longitude are measured in dash. Well done. Degrees is the right choice. What does the name Sarvajanik Sabha mean? Nice selection. Fort of the people is the correct and valid answer. The Padshahnama describes the reign of Dash. On track. Shah Jahan is the correct answer. All the features of a people's way of life. Excellent choice. Culture is the right answer. Who is considered the father of geography? Nicely done. Eratosthenes is a solid answer. The temple structure of Bengal is named as? Good job. Your answer Dohala and Chowchala works well here. The study of water on Earth is called Dash. Bravo. Hydrology is the answer. CISAR programs raise Dash in the workplace. Correct response. Morale is the most accurate answer. The process of learning one's own culture. Strong choice. Enculturation is the right answer. The statistical study of human populations. Right again, demography is a valid answer. Which direction do lines of longitude run? Well picked. North to south is the correct answer. Empathize, define, ideate, prototype, test. Smart pick. Design thinking is the correct choice. When every organism of a species has died. Correct response. Extinction is the most accurate answer. They are part of the cultural expressions. Exactly. All of the above makes sense, and it is right choice. What is one reason for foreign investment? Sharp thinking. To create local jobs is the right choice. Bengali as a language was originated from. Nice work. You chose Sanskrit, and it is correct. Dash are responsible for writing new laws. Smart move. Legal draftsman is an accurate answer.
Who started the Muslim dynasty in Kashmir?
Clear logic. Your choice, Shami, is sound and 100% true. If you learned oratory, what could you do? Correct. Give good speeches is the right answer. Which butterflies were not eaten by birds? Well reasoned. Monarch is the correct choice. Maine and New York are in the Dash region. Great thinking. Northeast is the right choice. This tribe was known for their totem poles. Good thinking. Tlingit is the right answer. A person might respond to a good satire by. Excellent choice. Laughing is the right answer. Four-roofed thatched hut are known as Dash. You're right. Chochola is the correct answer. Alaska and Hawaii are in the Dash region. Good job. Your answer non-contiguous works well here. What initially allowed Sikhism to spread? Nice selection. Fighting with neighboring peoples is the correct and valid answer. They like to eat an apple, and so do Dash. Well done. I is the right choice. Dash was the English founder of Congress. You got it. Your choice of Hume is right. Which organization replaced GATT in 1995? On track. Bhutu is the correct answer. This tribe built and lived in longhouses. Bravo. Iroquois is the answer. Indian indentured labor was described as. Nicely done. Coolie is a solid answer. What do you mean by the term miniature? Valid point. Small-sized paintings is true. Kathakali is a dance form of which state? Excellent. Kerala is a brilliant choice. In which year Second World War broke out? Great job. 1939 is the accurate answer. Which is an example of natural resources? Right choice. Water is the best answer. Partition of Bengal was announced in Dash. Right again, 1905 is a valid answer. What is the Mughal Empire most known for? Perfect. Monuments is the correct choice. What do Austrians value in conversations? You chose acquiring knowledge, and it is correct. Where is the famous temple of Jagannatha? Strong choice. Orissa is the right answer.
What did he collect during his childhood?
Solid response. All of the above is a valid choice. Bonus question: who killed Mahatma Gandhi? Correct. Nathuram Vinayakgots is the right answer. Who is the father of the Constitution? You chose James Madison, and it is correct. A country with an elected head of state. Smart move. Republic is an accurate answer. Most Indian indentured workers came from. Exactly. Eastern UP makes sense, and it is right choice. Vande Mataram movement took place in Dash. Nicely done. Deltaic Andhra is a solid answer. Spaghetti from which country? Dash. You got it? Your choice Italy is right. Where was Mongolia in relation to China? Great thinking. North of China is the right choice. What are the main branches of geography? Strong choice. Physical geography and human geography is the right answer. What are the 3 levels of government? Smart pick. National, state, and local is the correct choice. What did the old Egyptians use to write? Excellent. Papyrus is a brilliant choice. Wyoming and Utah are in the Dash region. Bravo. Rocky Mountains is the answer. Location from which a culture came from. Great job. Culture Hearth is the accurate answer. Pir is Dash, word meaning spiritual guide. Valid point. Persian is true.
Object that represents something else.
Perfect. Symbol is the correct choice. When did he get a hint of real science? Nice selection. In 7th is the correct and valid answer. The Vernacular Press Act was enacted in. Well reasoned. 1878 is the correct choice. Akbar conquered Bengal in the year Dash. Sharp thinking. 1586 is the right choice. Choose the correct synonym for noise. You're right. Sound is the correct answer. Ohio and Kansas are in the Dash region. Solid response. Midwest is a valid choice. An Islamic house of worship is called a. Right again. Mosque is a valid answer. When did Irish potato famine took place? Good thinking. 1849 is the right answer.
In 1905, by Dash partitioned Bengal.
Excellent choice. Kherson is the right answer. In which century was Baisoli developed? Well picked. 17th century is the correct answer. Jallianwala Massacre took place in Dash. Clear logic. Your choice 1919 is sound and 100% true. What region is Mississippi located in? Nice work. You chose coastal plains, and it is correct. Name a bright social science teacher. Well done. Mr. Ponders is the right choice. Unconstitutional means against the law. Correct response. True is the most accurate answer. His dash was to lose 5 pounds a month. On track. Target is the correct answer. Who was called the Akbar of Kashmir? Right choice. Zain al-Abidin is the best answer. Maniprivalam literally means dash. Good job. Your answer diamonds and corals works well here. This region has poor red-colored soil. Great thinking. Red Clay Hills is the right choice. The students will make only one movie. Good thinking. False is the right answer. Which of these was not a member of Inc? Well picked. CV deficit is the correct answer. A covering for the head is called dash. Nice selection. Hegia is the correct and valid answer. With what do we associate each region? Correct response. All of these is the most accurate answer. Who wrote a book on Drain of Wealth? Well done. Dadabhai Naoroji is the right choice. Which word means to discuss something? Strong choice. Debate is the right answer. Richard Ebright's journey started with. Right again. Butterflies is a valid answer. My name is Yona and dash name is Sinta. You're right. Her is the correct answer. Application of science to help people. Smart move. Technology is an accurate answer. What type of traveler was Xuanzang? Good job. Your answer Chinese works well here. Who was seen as the people's messiah? Correct. Mahatma Gandhi is the right answer. What is a four-roofed temple called? Bravo. Chauchala is the answer. Temples were built on a dash platform. Nicely done. Square is a solid answer. In which year did the Congress build? You chose 1907, and it is correct. Which of these is a capital resource? Right choice. Car is the best answer. Who framed the Constitution of India? Well reasoned. Constituent Assembly is the correct choice. In which year the Arms Act was passed? Nice work. You chose 1878, and it is correct. Who was the first Holy Roman Emperor? You got it. Your choice, Charlemagne, is right. What genre study is the flag maker? Excellent choice. Narrative nonfiction is the right answer. Diana calls me, dash voice is so loud. Sharp thinking. Her is the right choice. Dash wrote commentaries on the Vedas. Solid response. Sayana is a valid choice. The Kedah struggle was in which year? Great job. 1919 is the accurate answer. Which idea is fundamental to Sikhism? On track. Fairness is the correct answer. What was the name of Gandhiji's wife? Clear logic. Your choice, Kasturba, is sound and 100% true. A language of trade and communication? Exactly. Lingua franca makes sense and it is right choice. What was he fond of in his childhood? Smart pick. Collecting things is the correct choice. Who is known as father of geography?
Excellent. Eratosthenes is a brilliant choice.
Chittaranjan Das was a lawyer from. Valid point. East Bengal is true.
Whom did his mother wrote letter to?
Perfect. From Okrat is the correct choice.
Globalization occurs at which scale?
Well picked. All of the above is the correct answer. Name the book written by Banyudatta. Excellent choice. Rasamanjiri is the right answer. Who is the first president of India?
Sharp thinking. Babu Rajendra Prasad is the right choice.
Which of these is a primary product? Nicely done. Cotton is a solid answer. What is the literary meaning of Urdu? Great job. Camp is the accurate answer. Oldest delegate. Very well respected. Nice work. You chose Benjamin Franklin, and it is correct. Direct Action Day is associated with? Excellent. 16 August 1946 is a brilliant choice. Diamonds and corals is referred to. On track. Manipravalam is the correct answer.
What was Rajasthan called by British?
Great thinking. Rajputana is the right choice. Type of party where guests get gifts. You're right. Potlatch is the correct answer.
The word Kathak is derived from a dash.
Correct response. Katha is the most accurate answer. Dash describes a belief in many gods. Clear logic. Your choice polytheism is sound and 100% true.
Dash was one important Rajput ruler.
You got it. Your choice Prithviraj is right.
Ahmad Shah Abdali was the ruler of.
Right choice. Afghan is the best answer. Naroji was Dash, settled in London. Well done. A businessman and publicist is the right choice. Regional approach was introduced by. Strong choice. Carl Ritter is the right answer. What type of buffet did Mark visit? Well reasoned. Amish is the correct choice. Columbus discovered America in Dash. Smart pick. 49-2 is the correct choice. The Pandyas are present-day Noahs. Valid point. Madurai is true. Many rivers and broad river valleys. Good job. Your answer, interior lowlands, works well here. Which one is not a classical dance? You chose Bhangra, and it is correct. What qualities did Richard possess? Smart move. All of them is an accurate answer. Who was the leader of the Marathas? Solid response. Shiva is a valid choice. Political associations before 1885. Good thinking. Madras Mahajan gathering is the right answer. Assamese women wear Gagra Kanchali. Right again. False is a valid answer. El Dorado, the fabled city of Dash. Exactly. Gold makes sense, and it is right choice. What did Mark get in his pancakes? Bravo. Blueberries is the answer. Which is one of the three sisters? Perfect. All of these is the correct choice. Ramacharitamanus was translated by. Nice selection. Tulsidas is the correct and valid answer. In which year was Inc established? Correct, 1885 is the right answer.
Beans are a great dash of protein.
Excellent. Sauce is a brilliant choice. Which was the fabled city of gold? Sharp thinking. The gold is the right choice. Prithviraj was from which family? Well picked. Rajputs is the correct answer. Lalati Kalam is which century text? Well done. 14th century text is the right choice. Emirati women are famous for dash. You chose the hair dance, and it is correct. Kuchipudi dance form belongs to. Correct response. Andhra Pradesh is the most accurate answer. What was the parchment made from? Nicely done. Animal skin is a solid answer. Who founded the kingdom of Malwa? Well reasoned. Dilawar Khan is the correct choice. What is the topic in paragraph 5? Perfect. Triadic structures is the correct choice. Lila Tilakam is about which topics? Excellent choice. Grammar and poetics is the right answer. Dash is divided into 10 regions. Good job. Your answer Mississippi works well here. Chera Kingdom was established in. Good thinking. 9th century is the right answer. Which tools can show more detail?
Clear logic. Your choice map is sound and 100% true.
Bengali language was derived from. You're right. Sanskrit is the correct answer. Persian word meaning a dash. Bravo. Spiritual guide is the answer. The major patrons of Kathak were. Nice selection. Mughals is the correct and valid answer. Dash is the blueprint for life. Great thinking. Dina is the right choice. What's the most popular religion?
Strong choice. Christianity is the right answer.
How did Mark describe the gravy? Smart pick. Thick is the correct choice. Mir Jumla attacked the Ahomin. Right again. 1662 is a valid answer. Golgambas has Dashem High Dome. Correct, 51 is the right answer. Beans are a great source of dash. Solid response. Protein is a valid choice. In which year did Aurangzeb died? Great job. 1707 is the accurate answer. What is meant by the phrase Sar? Right choice. Corporate social responsibility is the best answer. Krishna Dev Raya ruled from dash. Nice work. You chose 1509-30 and it is correct. What did indentured labor mean? Valid point. Bonded labor is true. Name the region that we live in. Exactly. Southeast makes sense, and it is right choice. Data by Narojo Vaz, that radical? On track. False is the correct answer. Name Richard's college roommate. You got it. Your choice, John, is right. The Arms Act was passed in dash.
Smart move. 1878 is an accurate answer.
Nobel Prize awardees are called. You got it. Your choice, Nobel laureates, is right. What is Mr. Kennedy's favorite? Strong choice. Purple is the right answer. Kathak is the regional dance of. Well picked. Uttar Pradesh is the correct answer. Spread their religion to others. Smart move. Missionaries is an accurate answer. Men wear lunges in South India. Correct. True is the right answer. The Constitution was adopted on. Sharp thinking. 26 Nov 1949 is the right choice. Bukka defeated the king of Dash. Excellent choice. Madurai is the right answer. When and was Congress reunited? Smart pick. 1916 Lucknow is the correct choice. Brazilians speak what language? Solid response. Portuguese is a valid choice. Bharatanatyam originated in Dash. Good job. Your answer, Tamil Nadu, works well here. New ideas accepted by a culture. Valid point. Innovation is true. Books and poems are examples of. Exactly. Literature makes sense, and it is right choice. Mutations are a change in what? Great job, Dina is the accurate answer. Which of these is an extremist? Right again. All of these is a valid answer. Kublai Khan was the grandson of. Great thinking. Genghis Khan is the right choice. New ideas that culture accepts. Perfect. Innovations is the correct choice. Which was Ibrahim's hometown? Well reasoned. Reading is the correct choice. A sequence of events is called. Nice work. You chose a chronology, and it is correct. Mole is a dash food of Mexico. Bravo. Regional is the answer. Richard H. Ebright was famous. Right choice. Scientist is the best answer. Manipravalam literally means. Good thinking. Coral and diamonds is the right answer. When was Mahmud Gawan executed? Well done. 1481 is the right choice. Who partitioned Bengal in 1905? Nice selection. Viceroy Curzon is the correct and valid answer. Who fired at Jallianwala Bagh? Nicely done. General Dyer is a solid answer. Regional variety of a language. You chose dialect, and it is correct. Which castes were the Rajputs? On track. Kshatriya is the correct answer. The Great Depression begin in. You're right. 1929 is the correct answer. Mahmud of Ghazni died in 1040. Excellent. False is a brilliant choice. Worship place of Judaism dash. Clear logic. Your choice synagogue is sound and 100% true. Chutney music was popular in. Correct response. Trinidad is the most accurate answer. A long skirt is called a dash. Good job. Your answer, Gagra, works well here. The chutney music popular in. You're right.
None of these is the correct answer.
The two armies once again in.
Strong choice. Len 92 is the right answer.
The Amish can build a barn in. On track. A day is the correct answer. Climate influences a region. Nice work. You chose true and it is correct. How do you measure molasses? Correct. Liquid measuring cup is the right answer. Who erected the Puri temple? Great job. Anantavarman is the accurate answer. Name the last Nawab of Awadh.
Nicely done. Wajid Ali Shah is a solid answer.
My gold Bangla was Circle B. Clear logic. Your choice Rabindranath Tagore is sound and 100% true. The episode has some series. Bravo. False is the answer. Dash was the guru of Tansen.
Solid response. Swami Haridas is a valid choice.
Was Duggo C. Banerjee a lawyer? Correct response. True is the most accurate answer. The last Mughal emperor was.
Right again. Bahadur Shah Zafar is a valid answer.
Miniature paintings means?
You chose small-sized paintings. And it is correct.
Who wrote Kathasaritasagra? Well done. Somadeva is the right choice. Migration to a new location. Right choice. Immigration is the best answer. Where did he graduate from? Excellent. Harvard is a brilliant choice. Cartography refers to dash. Smart move. Study about map making is an accurate answer. What did Richard's dad do?
Nice selection. He was dead is the correct and valid answer.
Golconda was ruled by Dash. Well picked. Polar is the correct answer. The Garansa of Kathaka. Perfect. Lucknow and Jaipur is the correct choice. Where did Richard grow up? You got it. Your choice Pennsylvania is right. Golconda ruled by the Dash. Good thinking. Polar is the right answer. Cowries are used as a dash.
Great thinking. Currency is the right choice.
Founder of Muslim League.
Smart pick. Muhammad Iqbal is the correct choice.
Other name of Vishnu is. Exactly. Jagannath makes sense and it is right choice. He was an excellent dash. Excellent choice. All of the above is the right answer. Miniature paintings were.
Valid point. Small-sized paintings is true.
Name Richard's roommate. Sharp thinking. John is the right choice. What is a trade surplus? Well reasoned. Exporting more than importing is the correct choice. Where did Ebright study? Smart move. Harvard is an accurate answer. Holy Book of Islam dash.
Great job. Quran is the accurate answer.
When was Gandhi Ji born?
You got it. Your choice OC 2, 1869 is right.
A tax on imported goods. Smart pick. Tariff is the correct choice. Where did he come from?
correct response. Reading is the most accurate answer. 3 schools of Kathak. Clear logic. Your choice, Jaipur, Banaras and Lucknow, is sound and 100% true.
Who wrote Geet Govinda?
You're right. Jayadeva is the correct answer. Ganga dynasty was in... Great thinking. Kerala is the right choice. Indigenous means what?
You chose native or original, and it is correct.
What is meant by neo?
On track. New international economic order is the correct answer.
Large flat grassland. Right choice. Great Plains is the best answer.
Famous Rajput ruler is.
Well picked. Prithviraj is the correct answer.
What was Manipravalam?
Good job. Your answer language works well here. Old eroded mountains.
Perfect. Appalachian Highlands is the correct choice.
What did ahimsa mean?
Correct. Non-violence is the right answer.
The belief in one God.
Exactly.
Monotheism makes sense, and it is right choice.
Moderates beloved in. Excellent choice. Publish newspaper articles is the right answer. Rajputs were from. Excellent. Rajasthan is a brilliant choice.
What is monotheism? Well done. Belief in one God is the right choice. Miniatures are dash.
Good thinking. Small-sized paintings is the right answer.
Kuchipudi ice from? Solid response. Andhra Pradesh is a valid choice. Kanzar in one is?
Strong choice. Option Aram B is the right answer. What are murals?
Nicely done. Large portraits is a solid answer.
Rendapest is a.
Bravo. Cattle disease in Africa is the answer.
GPA stands for. Nice selection. Global Positioning System is the correct and valid answer. Who oppose? Valid point. All of these is true. IM stands for.
Well reasoned. International Monetary Fund is the correct choice.
What is a ting? Nice work. You chose transnational corporation and it is correct.
Bartering equal to.
Sharp thinking. Trading is the right choice.
Expand Ras. Right again. National Volunteer is a valid answer. How you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format. Right again. Contact Narayan Chengder on Facebook is a valid answer.